always fascinated by the idea of a time machine. How nice it could be if there was a time machine to travel back, correct our mistakes, and change what is happening now. Hi, I'm Dr.Shamili Thirumaran, a dental surgeon by profession, an entrepreneur by spirit, and an environmentalist by interest. I am not here to talk about oral health. I'm here to talk about global health. Wildfires, hurricanes, storms, unpredictable rainfalls, serious illnesses, the impact of climate change. COVID-19 was awful, but what is going to be worse is the climate change. Climate crisis is a topic that is gaining importance now. The year 2020 was the hottest year of records. The Earth is now 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer than it was in the 1800s. Understand, every half degree matters. This is a gentle reminder. It is not global warming, it is a global warning. This is not happening somewhere in the new corner of the Earth. It's happening everywhere, here in our continent, in our country, in our state, and in the city we live. This is our home. We have the people we love, the people we know, and millions of species on it. The other species do not have a voice of their own to protect them. The people and species who are actually suffering and going to suffer are the ones who have done the least. Now we are facing the 6th mass extinction of species. The people and species who are actually suffering and going to suffer are the ones who have done the least. The other species do not have a voice of their own to protect them. Every being is important to maintain the natural balance and to preserve the ecosystem. From slithery snakes to majestic elephants, every species matters. Snakes control the rat population and prevent the destruction of our food crops. Elephants are important ecosystem engineers. It was climate change that killed the woolly gigantic mammoths. When the icebergs melted, there was vegetation destruction and thus wiping these giant creatures from the planet. Several species are endangered and on the verge of extinction. This includes the savanna elephants taking their place in the extinction risk inventory. We all have to remember that the Earth is the common thing for all of us. There is no planet B. Let us first save the planet that we live on, and then think about another planet yet another time. The momentum has started, but the action does not meet the pace with the emissions. To avoid catastrophe, we must racket up the pace and move beyond energy. Major socio-technical transformations are needed to meet the 1.5 degrees Celsius target that was made in the Paris Agreement in the year 2015. This is the countdown to draw down. Let us just not talk about the problems. Let's talk about the solutions. We made the problem and we have the solutions. There are already many ideas and solutions in place, from electrifying transportations, decarbonizing the grid, fixing the food system, cleaning up the industry, and innovative green solutions. We need to implement solutions that are viable, scalable, and feasible. It is also equally urgent to harness the power of nature to fight climate change. We must not lose sight of the solutions which are right beneath our feet, in the soil and roots and above our heads, in the dense forest canopies. Managing plants and soil is a prerequisite to fighting climate change. We all have learned the magic of photosynthesis. The idea seems pretty simple. Trees and plants take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and release oxygen. Theoretically, planting enough trees should reduce CO2 levels. Believe it or not, the biosphere, which includes plants and trees, does have a great impact on global CO2 levels. A mature tree absorbs carbon dioxide at a rate of 48 pounds per year. In 1 year, an acre of forest can absorb twice the CO2 produced by the average car's annual mileage. But the sad truth is, some trees are dying even before they are big enough to store a significant amount of carbon from atmosphere. A groundbreaking study found that the natural climate solution such as conservation, restoration, and improved land management can provide up to 37% of emission reduction that is needed by the year 2030. Restoring ecosystems could bring the earth back into balance. If we are too slow to start better managing and protecting these natural systems, the inaction will damage nature's ability to help heal the planet. We cannot heal in the same environment where we got diseased. We've been taught in schools to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now let us review, rethink, and re-evolve. Plastics cannot be avoided in certain areas of life, so we need to think about better solutions to manage them. We need more green entrepreneurs in business, coming out with more wise and smarter solutions. Now we have apps to calculate carbon emission and carbon footprints. Let us try and use it. Let us adhere to it. Implementing stronger policy measures that would reduce climate risks. We could provide countries the incentives and support to protect forests and natural carbon sinks at a scale sufficient to fight climate change. This is not just the responsibility of a government or the world leaders. It is the responsibility of every being on the earth. We could use social media platforms not just for entertainment or to accelerate business growth, but also to ensure planetary well-being. We could rethink addressing food waste and diets and shifting agricultural practices. For example, millet is a smart crop. Millet possesses immense potential in our battle against climate change as it has a low carbon footprint. Millets could help mitigate malnutrition and climate change. The United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring the year 2023 the International Year of Millets. This is a good thing. There are plenty of solutions like this, from replacing fossil fuel energy to clean renewable energy, rooftop solar technology, and waste management. We need to accelerate the implementation of these solutions, not just one by one, but all together. Not just by one country or one individual, but every person on the earth become responsible and act together. It is not enough if scientists and policymakers talk about the climate crisis. We need to democratize climate action so that everyone can contribute. You do not need big titles to do this. Consider every job as a climate job. A farmer in farming techniques, a teacher in teaching, an entrepreneur in CSR activities, and as young people in innovations. Every individual must understand the seriousness of these issues and talk between them. Educate the children and empower the women. We need more green clubs, more green entrepreneurs, and a green revolution for our planet. Let us not stop with this talk and share Save the Planet quotes. Let us get into action. We do not need protests. We need to protect. Let us make the noise to make the choice. This should not be yet another New Year's resolution. In the world of VR, I mean the rise of virtual reality, the reality we need to understand is to PR. Prioritize and be responsible. We have to do something now. Small changes can make a significant difference. Good science, good technology, and good data will help us achieve this so that we can make the earth a better place to live and transition it to the coming generations. The atmosphere we create protects the earth. Look after your atmosphere. It will look after you always. We already have facts in place, but we do not prioritize them. Let us extend our compassion to all living beings, without which life cannot survive. Life is hard. Let us not make survival harder. The idea is pretty simple. Prioritize, be compassionate, and be responsible. Remember this PCR. We all could be different in some way, but we all have one thing in common, that is our earth. Let us take a pledge to revive it before it is too late. Thank you.